as you know, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I know I'm like probably like the last person to be making a video like this or, whatever, but I guess I'll dedicate this to the mental health journey, whatever you want to call it. Um, the mental health journey that I had taken over my life. Um, I guess it all started when I think it was like 10. I realized that I didn't have many friends, and I realized that not a lot of people wanted to talk to me or, many things like that, right? And I remember distinctly that I hated myself, you know. Around that time my grandma had died, and I didn't really talk to many people. I was starting to move because, everything like that was going on. I quit school for like a whole entire year straight because I used to do like like it was like a Christian private school, right? I would go to it, I would have friends there, and then I realized like outside of class, no one wanted to hang out with me. No one wanted to do anything with me. Nothing. And so I ended up starting to focus on my grades more, and I skipped a grade. And then after my grandmother died, I stopped doing like homeschool because like we stopped doing that school and we started doing homeschool. After my grandma died, we stopped doing homeschool for like a year. So I got held back a grade, which led me to become where I am now, right? I'm finishing up ninth grade, and I'm turning 15 soon. So, I'm like the average kid now. Um, but yeah, it really set me back. And I remember after, I actually no, it was earlier on, like probably my youngest memories that I have, probably with my father too. I remember my dad, like he did like he was in the military, and he used to go to war, like I think he went to like Afghanistan or something like that, and I didn't really see him much like early on in my life. Like he was there for me, and then he left for like 2 or 3 years, I think, and then I didn't really see him much. But yeah, he left for war, and my mom still had to take care of the house that we had. Um, I don't know why I jumped, but my mom had to take care of the house we had, so she started working, and my grandmother, she didn't really work, so she would just take care of me, right? That's how I guess she took care of rent, right? In our mind, right? I guess as like a form of payback, for us taking her in. And yeah, basically she raised me, right? For the most of my life. Um, and I remember she was like a very, very disturbed person. Like she wasn't really religious. She wasn't really, you know, a joyous person. She was always like, I wouldn't say mean, but she was very hard on me. She would often like physically punish me. She would treat me like a grown adult basically. She would yell at me all the time. She would, you know, spank me, stuff like that. Like normal stuff, right? But what differed from that is like there was a few things that I guess started being like mentally abusive. Like she would tell me all the time, "Oh, you're a boy or you're a man. Don't cry." Right? I would cry often when I would be punished, and she would tell me that I couldn't cry because I was a man, right? And so that kind of like I think that was like the first time I tried not crying, and it kind of wrecked me like earlier on when it came to you know emotions. Like I've always had a harder time expressing emotions like you know sadness or love or stuff like that. Uh, as you know from my previous videos, but yeah, I've always had like a harder time expressing myself. And so her telling me that I couldn't cry was one of the main things that set me back. I really need smelt stone. So I have smooth stone, but yeah, I miss her. Even though that she treated me poorly, right, to a degree. She didn't abuse me, but she definitely didn't treat me the way a kid should be treated. You know, not blaming that on her, but she was a very troubled woman, and I miss her because she was kind of like my mother. You know, my mother has gone through you know, depression and anxiety and everything like that, and she like, I don't want to say often yells at me, but yeah, she kind of does. She you know, I'm not gonna blame that on her. She's very anxious and she's not a bad person, but sometimes I wish people would treat me nicer, but that's the way it is, so I'm not gonna really complain about that. But after my grandma died, um, we started moving, right? Because we had like an extra room we had no idea what to do with. We had enough money to move, but not enough time. It was a very awkward place, I guess, in our lives. So I stopped doing homeschool for like a year. I held back a grade, so now I'm the average grade for a kid. And I felt alone, really alone. How do you make a armor stand? Do you make it the slab? You make it with the slab, okay. But yeah. I just wish I didn't try to commit suicide. You know? I've tried 5 times now. It's really crazy, but yeah. The first time I tried was after I realized I had no friends, after my girlfriend had cheated on me, after everything like that went down. I realized no one wanted to hang out with me outside of like the school that I did. Like that was like earlier on. I realized not many people wanted to hang out. You know, not many people wanted to talk to me. You know, I've always kind of been a social person, but never really had the guts to talk to people. You know. And so I ended up being alone for a long, long, long period of time because I didn't ever speak up about how I felt, because I always thought I was fine, but in reality I wasn't, because the time I tried killing myself was the time I realized that I wasn't mentally okay, because I think it was like a month. No, it was probably like, I was like at 11 and a half maybe. I think it was like 11 and a half, something like that. I don't even remember. No, it wasn't. It was, I think it was like right after I turned 12, actually. Yeah. My, I guess my suicidal thought kicked in. And I remember my parents told me, like, I should stay safe, you know, do all these things, I guess. You know, because they were going out to, Sam's Club. Something like that. And I remember that my dad told me to watch the dogs, to, you know, make sure I did my homework, you know, take care of myself, everything like that. And I remember I nodded because I didn't even have the words to, you know, really talk to them. I was like bedrotting almost every day. Didn't even really talk to the few friends that I did have, you know, even though that they were going through the same mental struggles. And I remember after they left, I didn't even wait. I immediately went downstairs, went into my dad's room, and it was like the top left cabinet, I think, the top left drawer to his, like, what do you call it, dresser. And I remember that's like where he stored all his handguns. And so I remember I took like a normal. I want to say Glock because I don't know what it was. It's like just a normal handgun. And I remember there's like a mirror. There's a mirror attached to the backboard of the dresser that he has. I remember I looked myself dead in the eyes and I just like pointed the gun at my head after loading it and like taking it off of safety. I pulled back the trigger and the gun clicked. And I remember my eyes literally widened, you know. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, I really just tried killing myself right there. Like I wasn't even really conscious or like I knew what I was doing, but at the same time I didn't really know, you know. It's really hard to explain, but yeah, I felt like I don't even know how to say this. I felt weak. I felt really weak. Very selfish, you know. Because I felt like my dad had always told me that it's selfish to commit suicide. And I had never really thought about it. But I agreed with him and I felt bad because I realized that my little sisters, right, and my parents could have came into their room and seen me bleeding out from my head on the ground, on the rug. Just completely destroyed my life. And I remember I put the gun down and I just started fucking weeping, like crying all over the fucking car. Or not car, the floor. I don't know why I said car. But yeah. I remember from that point forward I wanted to be better. So it was like 4 a.m. that night, or that morning, I guess, at that point. I put on my running shoes and I just, you know, I guess charged out, however you say it. Yeah, I just felt like I needed to be better, so I started working out, bought like some easy 10-pound dumbbells, you know, so it was like something so stupid. And I remember I started doing push-ups, pull-ups, squats, you know, tricep extensions, neck workout, you know, basically everything, right? And I remember running every single day. It was like 10 hour. It was like not 10 hours, sorry, 10 miles. I think the first time I had ever tried running. It was like probably 6 or like maybe 7 in the morning when I, you know, got back home. I remember my parents were in the shower, and I'm pretty sure I heard their door open right as I was going into my room. But I don't really care because at that moment I felt like exhausted, like more exhausted than I've ever been in my life. I need to put that back actually. And I remember I laid down in the middle of my carpeted floor and I just fell asleep instantly, basically. And every day from that point forward, I ran. It was like 2 to 4 miles every day. Every day. It was like 2 miles back or 1 mile, you know, back, and then, well, it'd be 1 mile or 2 miles away from my house and then 1 mile or 2 miles back, however much distance you would just have to double that because, yeah, simple math. But yeah, I would just run over and over and over again, work out, you know, over and over and over again. I cut down on my calories. I started watching what I ate. I was so hyper fixated on looking better that it became everything. I started dressing better, started taking care of my hygiene, started doing everything right instead of bed rotting, you know, instead of being on my computer or phone all day, instead of worrying about girls. I started taking care of myself. And I thought it was all good until I remember I looked in the mirror. I saw that I had, you know, I had abs. I had a decent body, looking back at it. But it wasn't enough. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't enough. So I decided I wasn't doing enough, right? And so this is around when I started going through puberty, right? Around 12. I started growing. But since I was growing, at the same time I was starting to cut down on my, calories even more, right? Because I limited myself to like 800 calories, something fucking crazy, right? And then that was like that's at the same time I was growing, so I started becoming like really, really like lean, like horrible amounts of lean. I was probably like less than 10% at that point, and it was so fucking unhealthy that I felt so good of myself, even though I was like literally starving myself because I had like body dysmorphia, and I remember I felt good about myself, started talking to girls more, started hanging out with more friends, started doing all that stuff. One of the guys that I knew, I'm not gonna say his name, but one of the guys that I knew, uh, he invited me camping, and I remember that. I'm trying to find something. I think I'm gonna just make spruce. I think I'm gonna make the spruce, um, like cool, I guess, whatever you call it. But yeah, I remember I had one of these friends took me out camping, and it was pretty fun. He invited one of his friends, um, and he invited his older sister, who ended up being lesbian, you know, and she brought one of her friends, who was also lesbian, um, and so I remember how do I say this? I remember I like kind of liked the way she looked. You know what I mean? I kind of liked that about her, and it was very lustful. I know. Um, but it made me, I guess, feel good. I guess thinking about her. I don't know. I kind of wanted to date her, even though I knew that she was lesbian. I introduced myself. You know, I was kind of lusting after her looks. I was a very lustful guy. I remember this a lot. I lusted after women. I used to chase things that were finite, and it ended up getting me raped. Um, that girl who I liked. One of my like it was like camping, right? So I introduced myself. We were setting up camp, like the tent, and I remember my homeboy. We were like playing. We were like in the tent, since everyone was attracted to women, right? My homeboy, and then his friend that he brought along, and then me, and then the two lesbians. Like everyone in that tent liked girls, so we shared a tent. Shared a tent. I'm stuttering. Um, but yeah, as soon as like she told me that she was lesbian, I kind of like I felt sad, but I didn't let it get to me. It was like the first night we ended up playing like I think it was like well we were playing Uno, we were eating like zebra cakes, something stupid, like some snack, and I remember it was uh not two truths and a lie. What's it called? Truth or dare. And obviously, I always pick truth because if you pick dare, you're kind of, kind of dumb. You're kind of retarded. You know what I mean? So I pick truth because my homeboy's asking me like truth or dare, right? I'm not trying to go skinny dipping, even though like that was like literally one of the dares. The like one of my like my homeboy's friend had to go skinny dipping because one of the lesbians asked him, or well not asked him, but yeah, they asked him truth or dare. He picked dare. He had to go skinny dipping. It was like probably 2 a.m. Freezing cold, by the way. And I remember it was, I think it was my homeboy that asked me the question. Yeah, I think it was my homeboy. He asked me the question, quote unquote, because I picked truth. He said, quote unquote, how big is it? And I remember those words a lot. Like I reminisce on those words all the fucking time. I don't even know why. Like whenever I think back on the story, that's the only like I remember looking him dead in the eye, and he was serious. He was serious. So I remember I like look around, I pause for a second, and I'm like, I finally give out, how big it was, and like the whole entire tent was still quiet, and like I'm not really insecure about it, not really. Like sometimes I'll question like a few things, but then I realize it's not bad, right? And so I remember after that, um, after that incident, I kind of just started out with like a new dare because the girl next to me is still waiting on her turn. So to kind of keep the conversation going, I said, "Oh, truth or dare," right? Just to stop myself from dying of embarrassment. So we continue going. You know, nothing really happens on the first night, and then it was like the second day. We were like going exploring on the beach um like in the forest. We started like messing with little kids, like scaring them because it was like near Halloween. Like people were dressing up, stuff like that. And I remember, I think it was like I don't remember if it was Halloween. I don't remember what it was, but it was like a street that we were on near like the beach. There's like kids on like a bike, and then we started messing with them, you know, everything like that. And the girl, um, the my rapist basically, um, I remember, she was carrying around like a bat. There's a lot of things I remember. She used to call me Flower Boy, because she couldn't pronounce my name, so she would call me Flower, and it was so annoying. But I don't know, it still reminisces with me. I don't know. It's like a bad memory, but I enjoy. I want to say I enjoy pain, but I don't know. I find comfort in something that I'm familiar with, which are old, bad memories, objectively bad. And then I remember it was, I think it was the third night. No. Yeah, it was the third night. I remember. No, it wasn't. Because we left on the third morning. Yeah, it was the third morning. My bad. Um, what am I looking for? I'm trying to think of multiple things at the same time. It was like the third morning. I remember that I went over to the beach because we were doing truth or dare in the morning, and one of the dares was we should go all exploring, right? Um, like the beach, right? Or no, not the beach, the woods. And I was agreeing, but my friend's mom overheard us, and so she said no, right? Because we're not gonna do that. It's like we're about to leave, right? We can't really be doing that. And so we were like, you know, complaining, kind of whining to her, saying, "Oh, please, please, please." And eventually she did, you know, she did crack. She said, "Okay, but you guys can't split up. You guys have to be together." Um, my friend and his older sister, the lesbian, had to, you know, they had to stick together, along with my friend's friend. So that left me and her together. Oh, fuck, I said her name. But yeah, that left me and the girl together. Um, because, you know, we were both like, she was 13, I was about to turn 13 at that time. Um, and so, you know, it was, it was kind of cool because the other lesbian, she was probably, I think she was like 15. She was 15 looking after her little brother, and then his friend who was like 11. And so me and I almost said her name again. Me and the girl, right? We go over to the beach because I'm not trying to get infected by some not poisonous, venomous snake over in the woods. So I go to the beach, right? And so over by this beach, it was like probably like 7 in the morning. I hear footsteps behind me, and it's you know, oh my gosh, I keep trying to say her name. I'm gonna call her Ash. Ash is it's a close enough name, I guess. Yeah, so I hear Ash, you know, um, coming up behind me, and I remember she said, "Oh, can I come with you?" I said, "Sure." I was just goofing off. I was like throwing sticks at like a goose or something like that. It was something stupid. I was skipping stones, doing a bunch of random stuff, and eventually she asked me, "You remember on the first night, right? how you said your you know what was you know how big, and I obviously said yeah, and she's like, can I see it? And I remember I look at her, I'm like, no. Why? Because I'm laughing. I'm like, she said she had like a girlfriend. She said that, you know, she was a lesbian. I didn't really think she was being serious, so I was like laughing it off, saying no, right? Because I think it was a joke. She's dead serious. She's like, I'll show you my boobs. And I'm like that immediately clicked a button in my brain. As soon as I heard boobs, like, I don't know, it clicked in my head. I just reloaded my shaders accidentally. Um, but yeah, I obviously said yeah because I haven't seen them before. I haven't seen any girl IRL before. So I was like, oh yeah, this is my chance. I'm obviously gonna say yeah. So I did. She showed me them, and almost immediately I get hard, right? Um, and so it gets to the point where she's like, okay, now it's my turn. So she pushes me down on like the ground area, and um, I remember her like pushing me down to the ground and kind of pulling down my pants and like seeing it, and then everything goes on, right? It's basically just us making out, touching each other. Eventually she comes, I come. um it was like probably over like the course of 10-20 minutes maybe, and eventually it gets to the point where the foreplay, the kissing, the making out, everything like that, it's not enough. So she gets on top of me, on top of my lap, because I'm still on the ground, and she's like, I'm gonna put it in. And I look at her, confused. I'm like, what do you mean you're gonna put it in? I don't want that, no. And so she says it's gonna be fine. You know, everything's gonna be cool. Doesn't really matter. It's gonna be real quick, right? And I basically start yelling. I'm not yelling at her yet, but it gets to the point where I'm like confused. I'm scared. I'm like, what? No, don't do that, right? And she's like, calm down. It's not gonna be that big of a deal. So she says, put it in, and I'm like, actually, don't. So she ignores me, right? She ignores me, and then she puts it in, and yeah, it was probably like 3 seconds. I was struggling with her, and not 3 seconds. 3 seconds is way too long. It was like probably 1 or 2 seconds. I started struggling with her, and yeah, it was already too late. She already took my virginity. Um, you know, everything like that happened, and I remember, feeling like astonished. I guess that's the way to put it. I remember feeling astonished because I felt, I guess, betrayed by a girl that I thought I liked. And I don't know. It kind of hurt me. Kind of hurt my ego. I remember yelling at her. I was putting on my shirt. I was yelling at her. I was like, "Oh, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you shouldn't have done that. Why did you do that? Blah blah blah." She's like, "Oh, I thought you were just joking, right?" And I don't know. It was painful, like mentally painful. And I remember this very clearly. I put on my shirt and my pants, everything like that. She's like slightly naked. My friend comes from like behind the bushes from where we are, like down the path to the beach. And I look to my left and I see him. And holy fuck, I said her name. And Ash, there we are. She's still like naked. So she's like hiding behind me. Like not behind me, but like, behind me and like behind a bush. And so as soon as as soon as I put on my shirt, he calls me. He's like, "Hey, Fallon, oh, your dad's here, to pick you up." Everything like that. Everything like that. I need to pronounce my words, but yeah. Basically, I go over there, pick up all my stuff. I have a boner in my pants, so I kind of just cover it up with my backpack on the way home. And I remember I sit down on my floor and I start crying because I felt like a weak guy for getting overpowered by a woman. Felt very weak. And I remember it was like probably 2 months later. I had turned 13. It was like a month after I turned 13. I had tried killing myself for the second time. I remember I went outside. My parents were outside. My parents were out again. So I took that opportunity to get a rope and I tried hanging myself on a tree. It was like right next to like a pile of wood. Like next to our outside fireplace. So I remember I tried hanging myself. And I thought it was gonna be instant. I thought it was gonna be like, for some reason in my stupid brain, I thought it was gonna be like painless and everything like that. Like I'm not gonna struggle. But no, I was definitely struggling. It tightened around my neck, and I remember I tried getting my fingers through the rope to try and get me off. I'm hanging off the ground, probably like 2 feet off the ground. And I remember eventually like get my head out right as I'm about to like go unconscious, and I fall back, and my arm gets cut up because I land on like a branch. My arm gets cut up really bad, and so I rush into like the house, get everything done, get everything fixed up. And I remember feeling very, I guess, confused because it was like 20 minutes that I had, I guess, a mind not filled with the idea of wanting to kill myself. And it made me feel free. And I realized that the physical pain, took my mind off of wanting to kill myself. So that's kind of where I started like cutting stuff like that. And it was really sad that I did that. It was really sad that I had gone through that, but I don't really care that I did go through that because it's like nothing more than a bad memory to me now. You know, now it means nothing, but it's kind of how I have scars on my body now. I want to say I'm insecure about my body. I'd say I'm insecure about my scars. Like I have a good body, but it's not beautiful anymore. It's not pure, you know. Not in my eyes, at least. Like I find people with scars very beautiful, but I can't seem to, say the same about myself. You know, and it's kind of, I guess, hypocritical, but yeah, I wish I could love myself. You know, I've always kind of felt like that. That's kind of one of the main reasons why I tried killing myself because I loved others. I really did, but you know, I just didn't feel it from other people. I never really felt love on like a deep level. Like if my mom and dad were to say I love you, I'd be like, oh, I love you too, right? It's not really a big deal to me. I don't really appreciate it, and I wish I did. I wish I did. They're alive, and it makes me regretful, I guess, that I don't say it as much as I do. But I really do love them. I wish I was a better son. I'm kind of a dick, you know. But you know, I just I don't even know. I don't want people to go through the same struggles as I do, and after that moment I found God. I stopped wanting to kill myself as much. I stopped, caring about what people said about me. Except a lot of things, like cutting. I stopped cutting for a long time. And then I got with my third girlfriend, as y'all know, Violet. That's what I have been calling her from now on. She was a horrible, horrible, horrible thing to me. She was so sexual. She was so fucking hypersexual. And it was mainly lust. That's what killed me, right? The situationships that I had, the girls that I used to talk to, the hoes that I used to talk to, like that, like lust really it really destroyed me. You know what I mean? It really fucked me up, like bad. You know what I mean? And yeah, they ended up getting me raped. It ended up, you know, I learned from that. Um, I learned from that, and I stopped being as lustful. And then when I got with this girl who was highly depressed, highly suicidal, a little bit of a whore, um, I I didn't ever do anything sexual with her. I refused sexual things. You know, refused nudes, refused everything, which is great. But it made her feel unloved because that's all she really thought about. She really fucked me up because I felt like I wasn't doing good enough, but in reality it was her, and she would never take accountability for anything. Nothing at all. And it really annoys me now, but yeah, I was dating her for like probably 10 months maybe. 9 months, 10 months. We were off and on, but she really fucked me up. And so she taught me kind of how to not be, you know, not be so, I want to say sexual, but I think I'm gonna call her Ash now. I think Ash taught me how to not be sexual. I think, um, Violet, I think she taught me how to, I guess, not be so dry in texting. Like, I wouldn't, I remember I got to the point of, like, annoyance. Like, I didn't hate her, but I hated talking to her because it was like, she would always say stupid shit like, oh, I'm hungry, and I would say like, I'll go eat. And it was some bullshit like, oh, no. And then it would be like the fucking not the semicolon, the colon with the three. And it was the stupidest shit ever. It actually pissed me off. It genuinely pissed me off. And it was always about her body. Everything revolved around her body. Nothing mattered to her except for sex. It was sex, sexual things, and that's what she, I guess, thought of as love. And it really, really fucked me up. It really did. Because I felt like I wasn't doing good enough. But again, it was her. She was a problem. So I cut her out of my life. And then I became free. As soon as I fucking broke up with her, for the last time, I felt genuinely free from everything, from the smallest fucking things. I felt free. And I didn't think about her much until I ended up seeing her with my best friend. And I remember I saw them kiss for the first time. And I don't know why, but I felt a certain way. I felt like that was still supposed to be me. Like I felt like I was supposed to be the one with her. I felt like I was supposed to be the one, you know, to kiss her, to, you know, hold her, to do all these things with her. But no. I felt like almost betrayed, almost. You know what I mean? And I had wrecked the relationship too with lying. I used to lie a lot. You know. I remember lying to her because I had like a bad drinking problem. And she was like really bad on like marijuana. She was like really bad on marijuana, cutting, stuff like that. And so I remember I made a promise with her saying that I wouldn't cut myself, saying that I wouldn't drink, saying that I wouldn't kill myself, saying that I wouldn't, you know, do all these things. In return, she wouldn't, you know, cut herself or drink or do any of these things. And I kept my promise, but she couldn't keep hers. And so the relationship ended, I guess. It was like more one-sided after that. Because from that moment, after I learned, it was like 4 months, 3 months that I had quit alcohol, that I quit all my addictions for her. She couldn't even quit one for me. She folded within a week. And it made me feel like nothing towards her anymore. So I started being distant. After I started being distant, I realized that she had started losing feelings, everything like that. I went to a party, probably, I think, after like a week later, and I got like really drunk, really drunk. I guess it's like a revenge or like sadness. I don't even know why I did, but it was like fucking blackout drunk. That's how drunk I was. It was like my friend's 15th birthday. His parents were out of town. They were getting him stuff in return. He threw like a big party, which only lasted like a few minutes, maybe like an hour, two. I don't know why I said a few minutes, but it was not that long of a party. But I got really drunk in that short amount of time, and there was this girl. She looked exactly like Violet. She looked exactly like her. But I knew consciously it wasn't her, but I don't know. I still felt like it was. So she came on to me, and I was like sitting on the couch or whatever. She came on to me, and we basically started making out. And I remember after that party, I had went home because my friend kind of kicked me out, and I walked home. Kind of got lost, but I made it home. And I think it was like the day after. I drank water. I'm getting tired, but I drank water. Started remembering everything, you know. I started remembering how I kissed that girl. Well, she technically kissed me, but same thing. And I realized that I got sexually assaulted, you know. And so I decided to call my girlfriend, who, was in Germany, and I told her everything, right? And it was the stupidest thing I could have possibly done, because although I did tell her the details, I said I basically kissed a girl, even though I didn't kiss the girl. The girl kissed me, right, without my consent, because I was drunk, right? I didn't really consent to it, right? So she thought I cheated on her, so she went out of her way to cheat on me, and then from that moment forward, I lost even more feelings for her. It was like a whole entire fucking thing with her. I don't even want to think about her anymore, but yeah. And then I started dating this new girl, right? Her name is, what do I call her? What do I call her? Oof. She's like mixed with like 3 different races. But yeah, I think she's mainly Filipino. She's like mainly Filipino or Thai, something like that. But I'll call her what do I call her? I'm trying to think. Huh. I really don't know what to call her. I guess we'll call her girlfriend number 4, right? Whatever. I don't even know, to be honest, but well, I guess we'll call her girlfriend number 4. Right? Girlfriend number 4. Right? She was very, I guess, narcissistic. And she was a very big narcissist. And I liked her. She was very calm. She was very calm, cool, collective. That's what I thought I liked, right? I do like that. I do like a woman who, is very calm, very, mellow, I guess, and I like that about her. But she ended up, I guess, losing feelings for me. She left me for another guy at her school. And I feel bad. I feel sad, everything like that. But at the same time, I don't know. I just wish I could be there for her. That's probably, I guess, I'm not gonna blame it on me, but you know what I mean? I wish I could have been there more for her, so it didn't feel like she had to leave me. It was the shortest relationship I've ever had, well, not so far. I'm in a new relationship now, but, yeah, like in total, like from start to end, she was the shortest relationship I've ever had. It was like 4 months, 5 months, something stupid like that. It was 5 months I wasted just with her. I loved her a lot. But I made this one decision. It was like the stupidest thing I've ever done in my whole entire fucking life. Right? I really like, I don't know. I don't miss her because she's a little bit of a narcissist now that I realize it, but I don't know. I feel like I won. When I met her, I felt like I won. Won in something. Won in like life, I guess. Cuz I thought she was the one, you know. But she wasn't. And I had to learn that the hard way because um I can't break that. Fuck. Um yeah, I had to learn that the hard way. Um because basically I left her because I felt like I wasn't good enough. Probably the dumbest shit I think I've ever done in my life, and I regret it so fucking much. To this day I regret it. Because yes, although I have a girlfriend now, and I really, really do love her now, right? Something about her, you know, it, I don't know. I hated that I had to leave her. I kind of broke her heart by leaving her because I thought I wasn't good enough. Right, she thought I was good enough, but I didn't think so, so I left her, and then I regretted it like a few weeks in, and I missed her, and so I texted her, we got back together, and she ended up leaving me for another guy. And honestly, I deserved it. I really did. I should have seen that one coming my way. But yeah, my suspicions were true. She did actually text another dude behind my back, which is like borderline cheating, right? So out of kind of respect for myself, I yeah, out of respect for myself, I kind of left. I kind of let her go, do her own thing. And it was my fault that she had to, I guess, rely on someone else for her. And I'm glad that she's happy now. I don't know if she's still with that guy. I haven't talked to her in a little while, but yeah. She, I guess, taught me to like kind of trust in myself a little bit more and not make stupid decisions like that, like leave my girlfriend just because I feel like I'm not good enough. It's very selfish. I hated that I did that. More than anything, I hate it. But it was, I think, yeah, it's the fifth relationship I've ever had. Um, I'm with this new girl now. What do I call her? What do I call her? Um, hmm. I already used the name Ash. So I'm gonna call her. I'm gonna call her. I'll just call her girlfriend number 4 or girlfriend number 5. Whatever, same thing. 4 and 5. But yeah. Um, how do you make pane glass? Wait, how do you make glass? But yeah, I remember I always kind of liked her, I guess. I don't know. The thing about her is always felt I always like not about her specifically, but about everyone. I always give everyone a chance, right? It doesn't matter who they are. I will always trust everyone enough. I'm very gullible. I will always trust anyone enough to date them. All I need from them is love, and I'm in, right? And I remember I felt sad, like true sadness for the first time when like she showed like self-harm, I think. I don't remember why I cried, but I cried like the hardest I've ever had, like the past month, not month, sorry, year. And it was, yeah, again, it was like the hardest I've ever cried, like genuinely weeping, because I don't know, I felt from that moment forward, I felt like I truly did love her. And so we started, I confessed to her, but she was like a little bit, I don't know, she didn't realize it, even though it was like a paragraph I wrote to her. And so, yeah, we got together like a week together, a week later. And I think I've been with her for maybe no, not a month. We haven't been together for a month. Maybe like 2 weeks, 1 week, not 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. But yeah, she's really nice. She's very, very, bro. She's like, bro, she's genuinely like the most beautiful person I think I've ever seen in my life. I'm not joking when I say anything that I'm about to say, but she genuinely looks better than pretty much, no, not even pretty much, genuinely better looking than any model I've ever seen. Like, it's insane. I don't even know how, like, bro, it's just, it's, oh my gosh, I'm relapsing right now. Holy fuck. It's like the same thing as what do I call her? Girlfriend 4, right, dude? Like, I feel like I'm not good enough for her. I feel like I'm gonna destroy the relationship, and I'm so sad already because I don't wanna lose her. I don't feel like anyone could ever beat her. I'm so serious right now. Like, I don't know. Part of me wishes I never got with her. Part of me wishes I did. Because one part of me says this will work out, part of me says this won't work out. And it's so fucking retarded. It really is. When your mind says something that your heart doesn't say, you know? And it hurts, it genuinely hurts so bad that, you know, I feel the way I do. You know, like I love her so much that it genuinely fucking hurts when I can't, you know, when she doesn't talk to me, when she doesn't like do even the slightest things, right? When she doesn't open up about how she feels, like she's very, very not mentally well. And I want to help her. I really do want to help her, but she needs to open up. I can't open up for her, you know? And I don't want to I want to bring it up to her, but I also don't. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I wish I wasn't such a loser, bro. Genuinely. You know what I mean? I often feel like really, really sad about the stupidest shit too. Like I cried earlier today because of the idea of like helping people. It's what I want to do in life. I want to help people. I want to talk to people. I don't want, like, I fear that I'm gonna die alone. I keep saying this, but if me and her don't work out, I genuinely just might commit. Like the final time. I don't see a point in, I don't know. How do I say this? I don't really see in my life a point in living if I can't be loved. You know what I mean? She says I'm good looking, but she's like a fucking 10 out of 10, right? Right. And like I'm a fucking like genuinely I'm like a 4. Like in my eyes, right? She doesn't think so. Many people don't think so. Like I don't ever believe them. I'm so fucking insecure and it's stupid. It really is stupid. I don't know, man. Like she's just so she's not even perfect. I know she's not perfect. I'm not perfect. But I hope that she's perfect for me. And I hope that I could be perfect for her. That's what I hope. I wanna I wanna spend my whole entire fucking life with her. And if I can't fucking have that, I just might as well, you know, pull the trigger again. I don't know, man. I wish she would open up more to me, though. I wish she would talk to me about how she truly feels, because I don't want to, you know, not... I don't want to have the problem of miscommunication again. Last time that happened, that didn't go well, you know? And I don't want to blame her or, like, hold things against her because other girls have treated me wrong in the past. That's a really big mistake that people do. I don't want that. I trust her a lot, but I fear that she doesn't love me back. Even though that we're already together, even though all this stuff, I feel that she doesn't love me back as much. Like, I genuinely... I'm about to cry again. Stop. No. I was gonna say I cried just thinking about her, bro. Like, holy fuck, I'm about to cry. Oh my god. Oh. Holy shit, I'm tearing up. Okay. Okay. I don't know. I fear I'm gonna die alone, bro. Actually. Like, I fear that, I'm not good enough. You know? Stop, bro. This is actually so embarrassing. I feel that I'm gonna die alone, and I feel that she's not gonna be the one. Even though I feel like she is. Like, me and her could be really good together. I just wish she would open up more to me. You know, it kind of reminds me of, a girl I used to know. Holy shit, I'm gonna cry. Yeah, this took a really dark turn, but I used to know this girl. Me and her used to be really good friends, but, she confessed her love to me, and I didn't confess back because I feared that, you know, her boyfriend, who was a drug addict, really would beat my ass for liking her. You know, I really did love her. I loved her a lot. Sometimes I feel bad saying that I love, you know, the girl I'm with currently, while also kind of missing that girl. You know, like, I miss her. I don't think I love her as much as, you know, the girl I'm with, because I know consciously that she's dead. But her boyfriend overdosed, and so I didn't really get to talk to her before she also overdosed. And it was like, it was her, like, where her, body is. It's like near the church where I used to go. And, it's like her gravestone's there. And I went to go see it. I went to go see it, like, a few days ago. I don't even remember when it was. Like, time has, like, been weird lately, but yeah. I went to go see her gravestone, and I feel like a monster because I didn't even cry. I really do, Rebel did love her. And she ended up killing herself before I confessed my love back. And it's so stupid because she was one of the people I got to talk to about my problems. And she never got to talk about her problems. And so when I look at the girl I'm with currently, it makes me feel bad, you know, because I feel like maybe I'm not gonna be able to help her. Holy fuck, I'm gonna cry. Oh, I can't cry. But yeah, it makes me feel like I can't help her. And that's what I fear most. Kind of having her commit suicide. Even though she promised one of my friends, her ex, that she wouldn't kill herself, right? And not even one of my friends, it was my best friend. And she said that she wouldn't kill herself. She promised. And that's its own thing. But part of me still fears that, not that she might, but that she's not gonna talk about how she feels. I want her to talk to me, but she doesn't. That's what I hate more than anything, because it makes me worry all the time. And I don't want to keep texting her over and over because I feel like a burden. I genuinely feel like a burden. I want her to be happy. I want her to be happy. So bad. And I don't know. I don't know what to do. Where should I put the bed? I need to have a bedroom here. But yeah, dude. I think I'm gonna work on like an outline of another house while I continue talking, but this is a long video. Very emotional for me. But I don't know, man. I hear that I'm gonna like, I don't know. Maybe I might die alone. Maybe I'm not meant to feel love. I remember when I was younger, I used to pray to God to take my life because I didn't want to commit suicide and go to hell. I remember recently I made a prayer just like almost exactly like that. I prayed to him, saying that if I can't have love, to remove the want for me to feel the love. You know what I mean? If I can't feel love, I want to remove that feeling completely and entirely. I don't want to feel love anymore if I can't have it. If I'm not meant to be loved, if the girl I'm with isn't gonna work out, if I'm not gonna find anyone else outside of her if we don't work out, I don't want to feel love. I genuinely don't want to feel love, because if I do and I die alone, that will be the saddest thing ever. I don't want that. I don't want to be sad. I don't know. I don't like saying that I have depression, because sometimes I feel like, not fear, but I feel like sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, in a way. It's really weird, honestly. I say I don't have depression, but yeah, I do depressing things. I pray to God, hoping that maybe he'll take away the feeling of being loved, because I fear that I'm not gonna, be lovable. Stuff like that, People say I'm depressed, but I don't know. Being loved, helping people, that's what I live for. That's the only reason why I'm living right now. It's the same thing with God. Like, if you ever need to talk to anyone, God will always be there. Trust me. He's the reason why I'm alive right now. That's the reason why the bullet didn't fucking come out of the gun. That's why I believe in God. Like, he's always there. I'm gonna cry again, holy fuck. Sometimes I do question, like, if there actually is a God. Like, if there's actually a being higher than you. I gotta fix my nose and my fucking voice is like cracking. But yeah. If there is no God, I would probably do it, but I believe that there's always a chance that there is God, and that's what's keeping me from killing myself. If you also feel the same way, but you believe that you know that there is no God, then I'd say look into like absurdism. It's like a little bit the same as nihilism. Nihilism is a belief that there is no meaning to life, and it's very depressing, right? So nothing matters. But absurdism is nothing matters, so you should live the best life that you can live. Both are probably very misunderstood by me. I haven't really looked into either. Um, but saying that there is no inherent meaning to life, look into those, please. Like if that's what's keeping you alive, please look into those. But oh, no tears have spilled. That's impressive, actually. I honestly expected to cry, but yeah, dude. I want to be loved, but I fear that if I'm not loved, I want that feeling of love to be gone. That's what I want. That looks good, actually. I think I might do that. But yeah. As of mental health, there's a lot of things that happened. I've lost many people to suicide, and I think if you're ever thinking about taking your life, don't. Just don't. It's never worth it. There's always reason to live, right? There's this quote that I really like. I think I put it in my status earlier, but it was, you shouldn't hate a rose because it has thorns, but you should learn to love thorn bushes because they have roses. And it kind of opened my eyes, because you genuinely should. You know, you should genuinely love life, even though that there are thorns, even though there are things that will hurt you. You should love life because it has roses, it has those good things, it has those things that are beautiful. Helping others, being there for others, that's what I live for. And I hope that other people, I guess, listen. I hope other people don't just hear me, but genuinely listen to me. You know, I love roses. You know, they're so beautiful, and I remember writing this poem. It was like, I wish I could be reborn as a rose, so that I could be beautiful enough to be picked. And I remember after writing that, I bawled my eyes out, because I was at the time I was like really insecure about the way I looked, and I felt like I was unlovable because of the way I looked, you know. And I realized it wasn't the looks that were the problem, but it was the other people who judge, you know. You should never judge others. You should never ever judge others, because people go through, you know, some things. I remember when I was younger, I used to do esports, something stupid like that. I used to do fucking esports because I had like no friends, and it was like a way I could, like, I guess, express myself in a way. I don't know how else to explain it, but yeah. I used to do esports. There's people I knew. I don't know why my voice is so cracky, but yeah, there was people I knew, and I felt like those people. I felt like those people were free, and I hated the fact that I couldn't be free. You know, they were always so free of worry, like to the public eye, but you never know really what someone's going through until you fucking talk to them. Genuinely. One of the guys there, his name, I'll call him Blake. Right? Blake, he was a very, I guess, attractive guy. Well, at least in my eyes, he was pretty attractive. But yeah, he was a decently attractive guy. And I remember he would base everything about looks. And he would follow fucking Andrew Tate and talk about escaping the Matrix, some stupid shit like that. And I have a friend like that currently. I call him Danny right now, Danny the Tiger. he also says stuff like that, like, oh, I'm gonna escape the Matrix, saying stuff like, oh, I'm gonna, make a bunch of money, oh, I'm gonna do this, oh, I'm gonna do that. But he chases money, and that's what he thinks is valuable. That's what he measures as a success. And to each their own dreams. I'm not gonna judge, but I wouldn't personally. I wouldn't personally put my trust in something that's finite. I would put uh, what? I would put some of my trust in something that's infinite, right? Love, right? Love is infinite. Love is perfect. Love is true, right? That's undeniable, right? And if it fails, it's not love, right? It's a very tough pill to swallow, knowing that you might not be able to make it in life, right? Although, like, again, follow your dreams, follow your passions. I'm not shitting on anyone. Do what you want to do. I don't care, right? But saying that you're gonna escape the Matrix kind of puts you in the Matrix itself. You know, like, obviously, again, do whatever you want to do. I don't care. But it really annoys me when people put, I guess, their trust or their, I guess, they chase things that are finite. That's what I really don't like. In the guy Blake, right, as I said, he would often, how is this? He would often say, like, suicide is a very selfish thing to do. I said this really early in like the video. And I'd say I would disagree completely. I remember my dad said this. It was like right after I tried committing suicide. It was like within the same week. It's crazy. He said people who commit suicide are weak and selfish. And I didn't really talk to my dad after that, a lot, because he was one of the people that I guess was like my grandmother, who would say like, oh, guys can't cry, stuff like that. Obviously, he knew that guys can cry. He wasn't that big of a, I guess, what do you call them? I don't know what you call these people, but he wasn't as much of that type of person. But he would still say stuff like, oh, suicide's selfish. And I wouldn't exactly say suicide itself is selfish. I would say that people are troubled, and if you ever feel like you need to take your own life, don't. Like, you matter. You genuinely matter. You might not matter to yourself, but you definitely matter to me. You know? So if you ever need to fucking talk to anyone, I'm always here. Right? Anyone who's watching these videos, comment if you need help. Like, email me. I'll put my email in the description, in the comments, whatever. Get help. Get help. You genuinely need help. Like, it's not a selfish thing to do. If you ever feel like you need to take your own life, just don't do it. Simple as that. Right? Obviously, it's not that simple because I've been there. You feel like you're in a position where you feel like you need to or want to. Right? There's nothing left. There's no reason to live life. If it all is just suffering. I've been there. But your life matters. Like, you're I'm gonna cry again, fuck. Your life genuinely matters. Like, reach out to someone. Don't fucking cry about it all the time. Like, it's okay to cry. It really is okay to cry. But don't resonate in sadness, as, I guess, I'm missing that jump a lot. What am I doing? Don't resonate in sadness too long, because you get stuck there. You end up feeling comfortable there. That's what I've learned. You end up feeling comfortable in sadness. And so you stay there. And you keep getting more and more depressed. Reach out, like, talk to someone, please. I genuinely can't stress this enough. Like, your life matters. Genuinely. But, yeah. I think that's where I cut the video. So, if you enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe. It really does help me out. Sorry about the emotions in this video. Oh, but yeah, I hope you have a good one. So, See you guys later.